Today we're going to be talking about irregular periods and what you can do about them during perimenopause. I'm Dr. Shelley Meyer. Thanks so much for being here. If you're new, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back to my channel. On this channel, I talk about perimenopause, menopause, hormone balance for women. I've also touched a lot on gut repair, gut balance, and even some other functional medicine topics throughout the 5 years I've been on YouTube. I'm a functional medicine doctor, a family doctor, and a registered dietitian. So today we are going to talk about irregular periods. That comes up a lot in my practice. It's very frustrating because it can be very unpredictable during your 40s and early 50s. It can happen before that in times of stress also. So speaking of that, we are going to start with lifestyle change, diet, exercise, stress management. But, if you're here for looking for natural solutions as far as supplements go, we are going to get into that. So stay tuned till middle to the end of the video for that. So I am, like I said, a functional medicine doctor. I deal with this a lot. And in my practice, we talk a lot about optimizing lifestyle. In functional medicine, that's always part of it. So one thing to look at with diet when you're working with your diet or trying to regulate your periods during perimenopause and to feel better during perimenopause and menopause, make it an easier process. And just to backtrack a little bit, I have a lot of videos on perimenopause, but there's usually a couple stages where you start out maybe early, mid to late 40s. It could even not even start till your 50s, but where you will probably have a higher estrogen to progesterone balance. So that we call estrogen dominance, just because of the ratio between the two. So I have a lot of information on that in my blog, perimenopause.help, and then I have a lot on this channel. But to generally sum it up, that's when your estrogen can be dominant. So there's some different approaches for that versus later on when your estrogen starts to decline as your progesterone is gradually declining the whole time during perimenopause. And then when you get closer to a year without a period, that's when you've hit menopause. So diet structure is generally the same, but with some of the supplements, we're going to say vary a little bit. But one thing that kind of correlates to both stages and even into postmenopause and just hormone balance in general is watching your sugar. So you want to have less than 20 grams of added sugar per day. The less, the better. Now, when I say added sugar, I'm not talking about fruit or natural sugars like that. I mean, fruit juice, yes, but like added sugars that don't come in the natural fruit form. So you're going to want to read your labels. You're going to want to eat a high fiber diet, 30 to 35 grams. That helps to detox your hormone, unhealthy recirculation of your estrogen, and helps to make your gut happier, which is going to be a lot more beneficial in perimenopause and menopause to keep that gut balance, because last week I talked about how you can really get a dysbiosis, an imbalance in your gut bacteria during perimenopause and menopause, and have more bloating and constipation and abdominal pain. So lots of veggies, lots of leafy greens, and cruciferous vegetables can help process our hormones better. So like broccoli, if you tolerate this, broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, but leafy greens like spinach and kale, collards, spring mix with the leaf lettuces is good. And then healthy fats. So eating a lot of healthy fats and not processed fats. So when you're cooking with fat, you want to potentially use, if you're cooking at higher temperatures, use like a coconut oil or avocado oil. At medium temperatures, olive oil. Those are the healthier fats. As far as actual foods with healthier fats, be avocados and nuts and seeds. Those also have a lot of benefits for helping us get fiber and protein and helpful antioxidants and nutrients and minerals that help our perimenopause and menopause hormone balance. And then lean proteins, so choosing leaner, healthier, organic animal products or grass-fed, and then trying to eat more plant-based if you are into that, can be very beneficial for hormone balance. So then let's talk about exercise. So exercise is essential for a good hormone balance. If you find your periods are getting more irregular, annoying, exercise can help manage the stress hormones that I'm going to talk about next, and that can help support more regular periods. Now, it's inevitable to get irregular periods during perimenopause. You're gonna have some irregular periods. It's not going to go from completely normal, happy, balanced to just going, not having a period forever. But I mean, occasionally it happens like that, but not usually. So it's gonna happen. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong, but what we're trying to avoid is the huge swings in mood, the huge swings in bleeding, and just have a more balanced, easier transition there. So exercise can help that. Trying to get 30 minutes a day of cardiovascular activity, brisk walking, swimming, light jogging. The more intense exercises that you maybe did when you were younger can potentially trigger more stress hormone and cause a rockier kind of transition there. Yoga and Pilates can be very helpful. Nice, slow, rhythmic exercise, gentle weightlifting. Those are all great ways. So 30 minutes a day of exercise. So getting that cardiovascular exercise and getting your movement in daily, like 5,000 steps at least, but trying to get up to 10,000 or more if you can. Gradually get up there, that's great. And then also doing, 2 to 3 days a week of light weightlifting, yoga, something that's building the muscle body weight exercises like planks and push-ups and those kind of things. You don't need fancy gym equipment. And I've had lots of posts on just simple ways to exercise at home. And then stress management. So let's try to make it an easier transition by helping balance our cortisol. Now I have videos and posts on my blog on cortisol support and how important that is during perimenopause. So I'm not going to go into that in detail here because I have gone into it in other videos and blog posts. But deep breathing exercises, meditation, like there's a great app that I love called Aura, A-U-R-A, and I'll put a link in the description for a 7-day free trial. It is great. It has meditation. You can do 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. It has prayer for those who prefer prayer over meditation. It has hypnosis and manifestation and affirmations and walking meditation for those that don't like to sit quietly, guided meditation of all sorts, sleep stories, all kinds of wonderful things. And it's it's the only meditation app that really has got me meditating every single day. So I really do love it. So something like that. Guided imagery, journaling, gratitude practices, the yoga, the Pilates with the deep breathing, that's part of it, can be very helpful for stress management. Trying to get enough sleep, so getting your 7 to 9 hours of sleep and trying to be consistent with the times you go to sleep, like getting to bed around that 10 to 11 hour, getting up 6 to 7, that's very supportive of cortisol. So, and then of course, boundaries, getting the stressful relationships under control or out of your life if you can, saying no when you can to things that you shouldn't be saying yes to so that you can preserve your peace. That's very helpful for having a better transition and not having these crazy periods. So let's get into the herbs and the supplements. So herbs can be very helpful in this time. On the channel, I've talked a lot about Vitex, which is chasteberry. And I'll put some links in the description of the brands I use with my patients and I like. Some of you have given me feedback that it makes you more anxious. In that case, I'd take a look at your hormones with your doctor, your estrogen to progesterone balance, and see what's going on there. There's a potential that if it's really imbalanced, that Vitex is not your friend. But in general, I find Vitex very helpful in this stage of your life when you're transitioning into that perimenopause period. I also like blends that have different adaptogenic herbs that can come in and help in different imbalances in the hormones and work together synergistically, because herbs often work synergistically. So some of the blends I like are the Happy Mammoth Hormone Harmony. I have a whole video that I'll link in the description on that. Women love that supplement. And then the FemGuard Balance I've had a lot of success with my patients. So I'll put those into the description. I tend to find that Hormone Harmony works better in the earlier to mid perimenopause, and then later when we get into close to menopause, close to going a year without a period, when you're starting to get more of the hot flashes and night sweats, that maybe the FemGuard Balance is better, but it just depends on the woman. A lot of women love the Happy Mammoth Hormone Harmony throughout and into postmenopause. So it just depends on the woman, but they have a lot of different herbal blends or herbs in those blends. Dim is another great single herb if you're sensitive to herbs and you just want to try one thing. I would say the Vitex. If you're feeling especially night sweats and really irregular periods, or if you feel like you have estrogen dominance, which like acne, mood issues, waking up between 3 to 4 a.m. And not being able to go back to sleep, that can be estrogen dominance. and just read my blogs and watch my videos on that. But DIM can be very helpful for that. So there's a great product called DIM Detox that I use quite often, or just straight up DIM Avail by Designs for Health. I'll put all those links in the description. Those are that's a great herb that is a derivative of broccoli and in that family, but you'd have to eat tons of broccoli to make what would be in DIM. So that can be very helpful for that estrogen dominance stage, and you'll learn more about that if you check out my blog. So those can be real game changers for women, but it's not one size fits all. Every woman's different. So just try some of these approaches. And if one doesn't work, you can definitely work with your provider too. I always recommend you work with your provider. I am not your provider. I don't know your unique health history. I don't know what's going to be best for you or what's going to be safest for you. So definitely working with your provider is helpful, is essential. And then there's also vitamins and minerals. So B complex vitamins I find very helpful for PMS. I find them very helpful for mood regularities and for hormone regulation, or for period regulation. So B complex vitamins, especially B6, folate, B12, can be very helpful. Magnesium, if you're one who has a very balanced digestive tract and that you're not constipated or have diarrhea, then magnesium glycinate's probably your best choice. If you're on the more constipated side, I would recommend magnesium citrate or oxide. And I'll put some links in the description there. Also, as far as nutrients goes, omega-3s are really helpful for PMS and for hormone regulation. So making sure you get 1,000 milligrams at least of EPA and DHA in your omega-3 supplement, and eating omega-3 rich foods like fish, that, not too much of it, but walnuts and chia and flax. The fish, not too much of it because of the mercury, but chia and flax and walnuts also have omega-3s in them. And Brussels sprouts have some too. So what else? Calcium and vitamin D, just to keep your bones healthy, can be very helpful, but not necessarily as period regulating or hormone regulating. They can be, but those are some beneficial vitamins and minerals. What else? The sleep I talked about already, mindfulness, meditation, acupuncture. I do find acupuncture can be really helpful for hormone regulation and easing perimenopause symptoms. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention is if you do have really heavy periods, which can happen very often in perimenopause, acutely when that's going on, you can use homeopathic called Sabina, which I'll put a link in the description, to help calm down that blood flow. And then there's a product called Slow Flow that I really like that has shepherd's purse in it, herb that is helpful for in the moment to kind of control that process. But these other preemptive helping, control and balance the hormones are better like long term. And one thing I don't want to forget is progesterone. So I have some videos on how to use progesterone, why women use progesterone in perimenopause, but you want to make sure that's safe for you and appropriate for you. So you'd always talk with your healthcare provider about that. But bioidentical progesterone can be very helpful because our progesterone does decline. We do get that estrogen dominance. So I do find it helpful for sleep problems, anxiety, and irregular periods. So if you go to the step of the progesterone, you probably won't need the Vitex, because that can be kind of helpful as a first step before you consider progesterone. You might still benefit from it, but you often don't need it. You may need, if you're in the estrogen dominant phase, DIM and progesterone together to be beneficial, but I would, definitely talk to your provider about that. So that's kind of my wrap up on periods being irregular. And so don't forget about the lifestyle piece. That's really important, but these other herbs and supplements and acupuncture and mindfulness can all be super helpful. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the description. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in the next video. And please like and subscribe and share this video so that the channel can continue to grow and I can continue to make content. It's really, really helpful when you do that, and I truly appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. And I thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time.